Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to do a present for my college friends that I promised I would do for Christmas, but of course we don't get together until after Christmas. And this is a project that I saw a lady that goes by Memo, and it's all one word, Memo. I think she goes by Memo Makes It. Anyway, it's a note card holder or it's a note holder that you put on your desk, and she said it's very simple to make. I've made one of them, and you might have seen it. It was one that had Minions on it, and I revised it a little bit from the way she did it, but I thought I would show you the dimensions. I hope you can see those dimensions, but if not, they will be below. I'm going to put it up right there and hold it for a minute so you can see all the dimensions of what we're going to be doing, but I'm also going to be putting it below. Make sure you pause it and write all these things down too if you're going to try and do it along with me. What we're using is chipboard, and well, it's thinner grade than chipboard. It's like the back of when you buy designer series paper or any kind of 12 by 12 paper, you usually get this thinner cardboard that comes with it. This is actually matte board that I found in the clearance at Hobby Lobby that made me really happy. And then one of the things you do is you're going to cover all of your edges with regular black cardstock. So what you do, and the length is 10 1/4 long, and what you do is you score it every ½ inch. You score it. So what I did was, I have it backwards, I scored it on the ½ inch mark so that I could just excuse me, I swear every time I do this I get a frog in my throat. But what I did was I already scored it at the ½ inch, and then what I did was I made it so that I could just, well, theoretically, quickly cut it by lining it up at the ½ inch, at the other ½ inch. So it's 1 inch wide, and the project itself then is the in-between is a ½ inch. I'm hoping that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me about it later. Send me an email and say, Sandy, what the heck were you even talking about? You made no sense there. You can do it a bunch of different ways. All you're trying to do, what I could have done is I could have cut 1 inch pieces and then scored them at the ½ inch, but that makes it really complicated for me because then you're trying to do everything, you're trying to make it really, you're trying to score on a really little piece of paper basically, and I didn't want to do that because that's just too complicated. I don't know if you've ever tried to score when you're working with something really little like that, but it makes it really hard. And so what I did was, just so that I explain it one last time, excuse me for that frog, what I did was I'm lining this up the 1 inch mark because I put my score at the ½ inch. So then if I line it up at the 1 inch, then every inch it's going to come out that on the ½ inch it's cut right. I hope that made sense. Again, if it didn't, we'll work on that later. Those ones were off. Here's what I did before. I tried scoring it. I'm going to show you that really high. I tried scoring it at every ½ inch. And then I started thinking about it like, that's the dumbest thing ever, because now every time I cut it on the inch, I've got like a score mark there. Although I will say, now that I'm doing this, it does make it a lot easier to score it, because then you can see those score lines really quickly and easily, and then just bada boom, bada bing, you've got it done. And now I've turned into somebody from The Sopranos, apparently. I've given up my alter ego of MacGyver, and now I'm someone else. I don't know who that is because I never watched that show. What was his name? Tony Soprano. Never watched the show, but you learn a lot on the commercials, don't you? Doesn't matter how often you watch a show anymore. Okay, I think that's plenty of them. I'm making 2 of these. That's why I did 1,000 of them. Not literally 1,000. And then you got the idea of it's an inch long piece, and then you are going to score on the ½ inch. Then what you're going to do, and this is really important, this is a serious score tape incident. You cannot use anything but score tape. And you want to make sure, do you see this is the indent? I hope you can see that. This is the indent side. You want to put your score tape on the other side because you want to make sure that your paper will fold this way on the side where you're bending it in, because you're going to be covering all of your paper with this. And I make mine, I use the tear tape, not the red tape, because I don't know about the rest of you, but that red line tape and it's kind of like my ATG gun. I don't know why I can't work with it really well, but it's beaten me more times than I can even tell you. Of course, this sometimes I have a problem sometimes getting it off. You know, like getting the liner paper off. And I've used the pokey tool. I've used all the tricks and trades of the trade that they give you, but sometimes I just just can't do it. So I'm going to just cover maybe 3 or 4 of these so that we can get our project going. And you're going to run it all the way to the end. It's important you go all the way to the end. And you want to make sure too that when you're doing it, that afterwards you really press it in firmly, because I don't know if you've had this happen where after you've done it, then you can't get your score tape to stick. It comes off. I've had that happen a lot, where I think it's going to be perfect and it comes off. And that when Memo made it, she did score tape on all parts of hers, and then afterwards went back and did score tape on other things. And I thought it was just easier to do score tape on all my pieces, as well as the other thing that I did that was different than hers was I put my paper on the inside of my project before I put it together, and that made it a lot easier for me, because I don't even know if she put paper in the inside of her box, but I wanted paper in the inside of my boxes. And my boxes are very specific to the people that I'm making them for. The one person absolutely loves The Wizard of Oz, and Mary, I know you're going to watch this, because anything that's about my Mary, she watches it. And I've talked about Mary before. She likes everything to be spelled M-A-R-Y, Christmas, because her name is Mary. And her sister Kathy, and she loved The Wizard of Oz. And Kathy sent me a note, watched one of the videos, and got a kick out of the fact that I mentioned Mary. And she's a crafter, but she does quilting. And I told her that that's not my forte. Nothing with the sewing machine. Not in the least. But anyway, back to Mary. Mary loves anything to do with The Wizard of Oz. And Beth, who is the 3 of us went to college together. The 3 of us have been friends for 30+ years. And Beth was my little sister in my sorority. And they were in my wedding, and they're just great. If I need them for anything, they're there for me. They're just the greatest friends. And so when I can do any little thing for them, I like to, because, like I said, they just have been there and done so many things for me over the years that I'm just blessed to have them. And Beth her big thing is she is absolutely fanatical about science, well, not science, math. And she loves anything related to math and prime numbers, and we have absolutely nothing in common when it comes to math, because the things she talks about, I have no idea what she's talking about. I always tell her she's the smartest person I've ever met, because I don't know anything she's talking about. But she loves math, and so I found this really cute stamp that says something about pi, the symbol pi. I think it says when it comes to pie, it takes the cake, or something like that. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do for hers. So their note cards, or their note papers that are going to be inside these boxes, are going to be related specifically to them. And Mary's that's what I'm doing first. Of course, it was so much easier to find anything related to hers because, you know, Wizard of Oz is everywhere and there's all kinds of Wizard of Oz-y kind of things. So with hers, I was able to find this really cool, I hope you can see that, set of stickers. Plus, I was able to find this teeny tiny set of stamps, which I wasn't excited about because they're so small. I didn't love them. I don't know if you can even see them. I was mad about that because when I ordered them, I didn't think they were this small. And then I ended up finding, and I don't know how, I mean, these are also very small, but I absolutely adored this one. Look how cute. It's Dorothy. And then the Emerald City. Loved these. Thought they were so cute. And then Beth, there it is. You know how I keep such a clean spot? Here it is. When it comes to numbers, pie takes the cake. I know, it's funny, isn't it? I don't know. Do you think that's funny? It's probably not. But anyway, she'll think it's cute, and I'm sure she'll get such a charge out of it. And I'm also going to write something like from Beth's desk or something like that on hers. But anyway, that's our plan. So, and this is where I am different than the way Mei did it, was I am going to put my paper on this centerpiece before I do anything else. And I'm using Tombow on it. Remember, this is going to be something that's going to be on a desk and used all the time, hopefully. So you want to really make sure that everything you use glue-wise is very strong, including your red line tape or your tape that you're using, because you want to make sure that everything is going to stay there secure and for good. And I have this cool Fiskars, this is my bone folder. I like this one because it has a weird top to it, but it really does a great job of burnishing everything down for me, and I like that part of it. So I like to make sure if I'm using anything with glue that I do that. The first thing you want to do then, after you've done that, is you want to line everything up, and you don't want a big gap. You just want enough of a gap between each one of these pieces that it's like, let's say 1/8 of an inch. It's going to be closer together than what I've just made it. And then what you want to do is you're going to line them up on. You're going to take the tape off of only one side of your 1-inch strip. You're going to only take the protective liner, I guess we'll call it, off of one side of that. And then with the way I do it, because I'm not like normal people, I'm going to do it the way it works for me. I'm going to line things up. I'm putting them down one at a time. And you see there's just a little gap there. And then we're going to put this piece down. Again, just a little gap between them. And Rich cut my pieces for me, and I did that because I just didn't think I'd have the strength to cut this like I needed to. It seems like my tape isn't as long as I needed it to be. I wonder why that is. That's a mystery. Well, we're gonna go with it anyway. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it around, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Only one piece. We're only going to take off one side. Hopefully you can see me taking this off. I didn't burnish this like I did the other one. And like I said, I think that is the key to getting this stuff off, is to really smush it on there. Another good Sandy word. Smushing it on there. Only taking one side off, and I can see I didn't really line this up, but it's not that big of a deal because, again, this is going to be underneath, so it's not that critical. And again, I'm going to do this the way that it works for me versus the way it works for other people, and that is I'm going to lay them down one at a time, as close to the center line as I can get them. And still having enough room. Make sure I have enough room on that one. That one is not lined up right. Okay. I hope you can see that there's a little bit of gap between each piece. Now what we need to do is everywhere where there is an edge between pieces, we're going to cut out little notches. That helps us to get a little more professional look, and it also makes it so that you don't have so much bulk. So we're going to notch these out, just little wee, doesn't have to be huge. You're just going to do enough of a little V so that you can clean out your edges there. And it only is at those. We'll miss one right over here. Oh, jeepers. And we want to make sure that when we're done with that, that each one of our little pieces looks like that. Then, once we've done that, then we're going to remove the score tape on these edges, and we're going to line it up with our sides, making sure we have a little bit of room. Remember, we're going to make sure that these can go stand up like this because we're making a box, a little memo holder, and that's all it has to be is 90 degrees. So we're going to burnish it again, but I want to make sure that you saw that I did burnish that one a little bit as I folded up. And these pieces on the sides have already been bent once when we started the project, so they're ready to go. And this one I accidentally glued something onto it in my pursuit of perfection here at this project, and screwed it up a little bit. So you can just ignore that shiny gluey stuff. Then what you're going to do is you're going to stand up these edges, and you're going to take this backing off of the paper on these two sides, and we're going to hold your side up 90 degrees, and then you're going to make that as tight as you can get it, and then we're going to do the same on this side, so it's 90 degrees, tight as you can get it. And don't worry, because we are going to be putting a little bit more reinforcement on that before we're finished. And then, before I go any further though, I like to line the insides of my box where you can see it. So I have, like I told you, I did put a little bit of Tombow on this side, thinking that was the right time to do it, but I'm afraid that if I put this top on, actually maybe I'll just put the reinforcement paper on first. I made reinforcement paper for these edges as well, so let's put that on first, and then we'll put our paper on our inside. So we'll do one side, and then, sorry, I have to turn things so I can see them because I'm not very good at, and half my glue's coming off. Darn that glue. Darn that glue tape. Okay. Still half the glue wants to come off. Why? Why glue? Why? Okay. Then you're going to fold that down, and that's going to be a reinforcement so that our edge is nice and clean and looks a lot better than it would have. Believe me, you won't be able to see any of this white. Now, I made that a little bit longer, so I'm going to snip off the edge of it. Then we're going to take the paper off the other side. We're going to do the same to that, and reinforce the top, and we'll make the box sturdier, but it really, the reason I like to do it is because it really makes the box look a lot more finished, but sturdier too. But I really like the idea that it's finished looking. And then what you're going to do is, I hope you can see this, you're just going to fold that down and really burnish down with your fingers. And we're going to do the same thing with that side. It doesn't matter, like if these pieces look a little wonky, you know my word, for lack of a better term, it doesn't really matter, because as we keep going, we're going to be covering more and more of this with paper, and with black paper, and with the pretty paper. And I do like to line the insides of my box of paper where you can see it, because I think it looks a lot better if you do that. And I want my boxes, if I'm going to take the time to do something like this, I want to make sure that it looks nice. You know, because what's the point of doing it if it doesn't look presentable? If you get my drift. And you know, the fact that we're doing a box like this, and I'm convincing you that it's easy to do, you should believe me that it's easy to do. The only thing for me, it's the intricacies of those first steps of when do you stick things down, and when do you the things that are the mechanics of it that I have to really think through. Now things are looking better. Okay, so we've got our coverage on the top and the bottom. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to do the Tombow, and if I'm out of camera, I'm just gluing that paper, but I didn't want to do it stretching all the way over because I wasn't sure how crazy I would look when I was doing that. So I wanted to make sure and I'm going to push that down. And maybe if you did it, maybe you would think that you should have done the black over it. I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because once I put this cover over it, really you're not going to be able to you're not going to distinguish, I don't think, where your glue was or was not, and where your background paper was. I hope that makes sense. Before I go any further, I am going to take this. I'm telling you, this Fiskars tool is cool shaped for me. It took me a long time to find a bone folder that was shaped the way I wanted it to be shaped, so that I could play with it better. And this little, for lack of a better word, hockey stick look to it. Can you see that? That really helps me considerably, and I really strongly recommend that. So we're going to glue that piece in, and that will take care of all of the pieces on the inside lining the box. Then what we're going to do, burnish that a little bit. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take off the little center pieces. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this end piece. I hope I can make this so you can see it good enough. You're going to pull it up to a 90-degree angle, and you're going to put those down. Then you're going to take your top piece and you're going to put the edges of it down. And then we also are going to, don't worry about that, because we're going to cover that edge, and we're also going to cover, I probably should have done that piece first before I did it down, huh? It's a little scary now. It's all fun and games until I screw it up. Okay. Not gonna worry. We're not panicking yet. Well, we might be panicking, but not yet. Then what we're gonna do is take this piece and fold it down. There's that. Then we're gonna take this piece, and we're gonna take the backing off of it. Make sure that it's lined up on either side. Looks good. Then we're going to take our very last piece of paper, burnish that one down as much as we can. I'm holding it underneath too. I see I got a piece there that doesn't want to really stay. Then we're going to put this piece right here. I made my pieces about 1/8 of an inch smaller so that you could see a little bit of black, but not a ton of black on the edges. And I know it looks like I have a crap load of Tombow on this, but I don't. It just looks like I do. And then pull it back closer to me so I can get this straight, or as straight as I can. Then I have these side pieces that we're going to glue on. I like this paper because it had the green from the Emerald City in it, and it had the red of Dorothy's shoes in it, and I thought that was cool, and I just like the idea of making something that use the colors of the movie, as well as making it cute. Always gotta have something cute, right? Then I'm gonna put on the bottom here, I have 2 more pieces where I'm gonna put some backing, because as I said, I like to make sure every place I can cover with another line of, we'll call it a line of defense, so to speak. We just want to make sure that as much of this box can be reinforced as possible, so that when you use it, it's going to hold up to the wear and tear of day-to-day life in the office, hopefully. And you never know, Mary could be throwing this at somebody, and I have to make sure this thing will, bang off someone's head or something without hurting anybody. Well, not hurting anybody, without hurting this. I'm not sure if cardboard could do much damage, but you never know. Mary's kind of a wild girl. Mary is, for lack of a better word, a child at heart. She's always been so much fun to do things with, because if you just want to get in trouble with somebody and just have some fun, she's your girl. She just is so much, she just has so much energy, and she's just so fun. And when we go back to homecoming at the college we went to, they have a homecoming parade, and every year they throw candy at the parade, and Mary gets really, really upset if she doesn't get enough candy. So sometimes she gets a little bit aggressive in her candy consumption. And one year, Beth's son had broken his collarbone, I think it was, and he was maybe, I don't know, 11, and no, not even, he was younger than that, he was probably like 9, and of course he was getting candy, and Mary didn't like it that he was getting candy, so she kind of tackled him and knocked him down. It was really one of those moments where you were a little scared for him, because he was standing between Mary and candy. You don't do that. Okay. So let's finish off our box, and we'll make a few of our memo pads for inside. I decided that I liked Dorothy and her friends. I think I'm going to go with this great big one instead. It just says the Wizard of Oz and has her shoes. I like that. I think it's classy. As classy as you can be with the Wizard of Oz. And then I have these little felt things that you put on furniture so they don't slide, but I'm doing it more to protect the paper on the bottom of my box. And why not? Let's make sure our box can stand the wear and tear of everyday life. And that. Then let's do a couple of our memos. I made the paper, so I thought it would work, and then size-wise, I mean. And then I decided that I would go with a few different colors. I thought we would do the Emerald City. You're never gonna guess in what color. Gonna go with green. Weirdly enough. I thought I would use our Handsome Hunter that we did when we did our pearlized inks. And we'll put them in that city right there. I bought these stamps from eBay, and it made me laugh when I bought them, because I don't know if you can see this, but they just really rigged the heck out of this. They used some kind of, I don't know, chunk of wood that they found in their garage or something. It just made me laugh when I got them. I mean, obviously the design on it is an older piece, but I got a kick out of how it was. So yeah, that one's a little bit better, a little greener. Then let's do a Dorothy. I think I'll do Dorothy in just plain black VersaFine. There, that one came out nice. Then let's try one of these weird ones that we got. And the copyright on these is from 1899. Let's do the postage stamp of the lion. I like him. He's very cute. Oh, he came out adorable. I'll put him up really high. Isn't he cute? He makes it all worthwhile. I really liked the idea of being able to give them their stamps when I'm done with them, so that they can take their stamps home and make their own when they run out of papers in their little sets, that they will then do their own. I thought that was kind of a fun idea. Well, you've gotten the idea of what my plan is. I think if I had to say my favorites are the lion. I'm going to have to trim off Dorothy. Dorothy's going to look nice once she's trimmed. And then the Emerald City. Then I'm going to also put in there from the desk of, put some of those in there as well, so that they'll fit like that. And that will be her present. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you give it a thumbs up. And I'm hoping that Rich cuts out enough of this that it doesn't just make you just crazy from boredom. But I really had a fun time making it. And I still have bets to make. So I got to get going on that, because tomorrow we're having our little luncheon. So that'll be fun. So I hope you give us a thumbs up. There's the thumb. And subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.